Good evening, friends and family of Emily and Austen. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Lauran.
And we are bringing a bit of the fun and spunk of PowerPoint Karaoke, an event that Austen and Emily have partaken in a few times.
So the way this is going to work is Brittany's going to present a few slides that she's never seen before that I put together. Then I'm going to present a few slides that I've never seen before that she put together. And then we're both going to present some slides that Mike Hendricks, who's not here, put together. So thank you, Mike.
And with that, let's jump right in.
All right.
All right.
Hi, Brittany.
Hi, Mary Lauran.
Oh my gosh, it is so good to be here with you at the Eco-Justice Biomimicry Roundtable Session 14. It is amazing to think that 14 years we've been doing this.
I know. I remember when you were just a screen name in that chat room about eco-justice, and when biomimicry was just a word to me.
Yeah, it's everywhere now, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm so inspired by how thousands of friends who are watching online at home have taken inspiration with us, looking to nature for concepts that can inspire solutions in our everyday lives. It's just incredible. And I'm so grateful to you, Mary Lauran, because you have put together such an incredible weekend of learning for us. I think it's going to be our best roundtable yet. And I just really think that you chose the right organism for us to learn from in this particular moment. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited about the organism that we're going to discuss today. As you all know, because of the pandemic, unfortunately, we can't be together in Milwaukee as we had originally planned, but we are bringing this program to you pre-recorded via Laserdisc, and we're really happy that you've decided to pop that Laserdisc into your Laserdisc scanner reader and are joining us today. So without further ado, let's talk about the organism that we're gonna discuss today. And the organism that we're going over today is the AustenandEmily. Such a beautiful organic entity and a great example of so many different attributes, which we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
You want to go over a few of the fast facts about this entity, Brittany?
Yeah, so this is an entity that is relatively new to human knowledge. It was first discovered off the coast of British Columbia in 2014. And for me, what I think is most interesting and exciting about this species is that it has a very strong herd mentality. So when you see an AustenandEmily gathered, it's usually surrounded by flocks of humans. Which I should just note that be careful when you're identifying an AustenandEmily. You might mistake it for the human species. Very, very closely related, but if you pay more attention, it has a lot more magical characteristics. So you want to check that, especially around the eye ring and also in the social manifestations of this organism. Is there anything else you want to share, Mary Lauran?
I would just go right into saying that, speaking of flocking together, we are going to have, for some of us who are co-located, an outing tomorrow and symbolic representation options available for folks who can't be in the 7A region of the USA hardiness zone. We will be observing the AustenandEmily in its natural habitat. And because it will be the summer solstice, and summer solstice represents peak activity time for this entity, there is very likely to be a unification
ritual. I just can't believe it.
Which only happens once in the lifetime of this entity, as far as researchers know, although reenactments often occur on subsequent solstices. So we encourage everyone who is in geographic location 7A to gather at a safe radius. We want to make sure the entity has plenty of space, because close proximity to an AustenandEmily can be known to produce irreparable bonding to that entity, and we want to make sure that we're not disturbing the stasis of the duality within that entity.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. So the goal of this gathering in our symposium is just to really ground in, as we've stated, we are an eco-justice biomimicry collective. And we're looking at characteristics of this organism that we can carry into complex human realities. So we're looking to, for those who can join in person tomorrow, to really be up close and personal with what that looks like and bring that learning back to our community. But for all of us, we've prepared just a quick overview of 3 areas of research that we've conducted already on this species.
Yeah. And this first attribute is really special and something to really keep in mind. And Brittany is actually going to be the one presenting on some of the key takeaways for this attribute for us to have in mind as tomorrow's, hopefully the unification ritual does occur. Brittany, so I'll hand it off to you.
Thank you. So I have been out in the field for the last few months collecting field samples on how the Austen&Emily embodies radical collectivity. We've only seen some of these characteristics in bees so far, and so there is kind of a correlated, behavioral profile. So what I want you to focus on here is building resilient cells. That is the step that goes right before a home-oriented new enjoyment year. And this is the step where the Austen&Emily really tends to overperform. Building resilient cells, meaning cells as a dwelling unit, also cells on the microorganism level. That the Austen&Emily tends to create very strong living environments kind of on every level of the organism. And if you look really closely here in this highlighted portion, you see some yellow. And when it's thank you so much. So if you zoom in here, you also see red concentrated. So there's always a strong primary color concentrated in the kind of the central aspect of cell building. And that's because the Austen&Emily is a vibrant organism. So it's reinforced structurally. You see a lot of reds, yellows here, again in the Austen&Emily. And what we've found is when they are externally exhibiting these strong primary colors, it's because they're in active tending of that strong cell building mode. Yeah, so look out for those primary colors, everybody, when we go out tomorrow. It means that magic is going to happen.
Wow, that is some really groundbreaking research, Brittany. Thank you so much for doing that work and for sharing it with the rest of the biomimicry and eco-justice world.
Yeah. Field sampling was, it's gruesome. And just looking at the dependency on these 2 organisms on each other and what we can learn from it, it was worth all of the test tubes. Really. Yeah. So Mary Lauran, I am equally grateful that you have done a lot of research on our attribute number 2.
Thank you. Yes, I'm really excited to bring some of this information to the world. It took a lot of research grants and a lot of proposals, frankly, to get to the point where I was able to go out into the field to collect enough data on this. And I'm really, really excited to bring it to everyone here today.
Excellent.
Yeah. Great. Okay, so first, when we think about the Austen&Emily, and of course we've all seen slides in our textbooks, what do we really notice? If we zoom in on where their hand placement tends to be, they actually keep symbols of their mirroring on one of their appendages in the form of, it's sort of hard to see in this picture on the left, but here we have a zoom in closer look here. We've got these loops of roundness, and they do this in a couple different ways. In one way, they can encompass each other with their appendages, which are known as arms, similar to humans. In another way, with bands of metal that they've fashioned around some of their fingers. This symbolizes radical support. Of course, It's also a form of a fractal, because when you have a ring around a finger, covered by a hand around a hand, covered by an arm around a body, that of course is an example of a fractal. A fractal, of course, means that what happens on one level of an organism occurs as a pattern outwards. It's just like a succulent. And this has a massive effect on the surrounding ecosystem. Of course, we see here a recorded communication from the AustenandEmily's flock of 2019, featuring bounties from the urban farm. And you'll see all of the different instances of this in this image of circles and roundness occurring one inside the other, inside the other. And of course, the flock itself is gathered around the table. Do you see what I'm getting at here? It's circles inside circles inside circles. What we have here, folks, it's a classic design principle. It's not something that happens to have happened with the entity, but rather something that is intentionally being carried out in order to create closer bonds with each other, with the self, and with the community more broadly. So when you think about the AustenandEmily organism and the entity in the weekend festivities, I encourage you to think about this fractal exhibition of circling within circling and how that applies to us and to them and to our broader community. Thank you.
WOW is all I have to say.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
And we do have a third attribute to discuss. I'm going to go ahead and get that teed up here. And again, this is research that Michael Hendricks conducted that Brittany and I will both be expounding upon today. We're sorry he can't be here today. We're really appreciative of his work. Okay, let's go ahead and dive in.
All right. So I'm so excited. This is actually the first body of research on AustenandEmily's traveling by water. And the biggest thing about this is it's the first trackless aquatic navigation that we've seen in any species that
really?
are in the mammal family.
Yeah. And this really creates challenges for tracking AustenandEmily's, because if they don't leave a trace on the water, then it's actually quite hard to track them. And then they learn from their water-based activities that and bring some of those lessons onto their land travel, so that it can actually be really hard to find them in the field and take samples. In part because if they are spotted, they tend to stay really still and blend in their surroundings like a deer.
Yeah, you can't see them at all in that picture. Like, yeah. Where are they?
I think they're somewhere over here.
Yeah, I think that's what I was gonna say too.
Yeah.
So I think, there's a lot that we could talk about in this picture. I would like folks to fix on the bottom right for a second. So first of all, circles within circles. All right, yeah. This is a key manifestation of characteristic number 2 that Mary Lauran talked about, and is an indicator of the harmonization that's happening also in the circles of corn behind them.
Yep. Yeah, which in turn, weaves into their DNA and the DNA of those around them and that we eat.
Which is why they're so hard to see, because there's circles everywhere. So your eyes just get confused.
Okay, now let me locate them in these photos. It's a little bit hard. Okay, I think I see them. Do you see them here, Brittany?
Well, I see a circle.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like a sun.
Yeah.
So I think they're near that.
Okay, great. Yep, and one thing that is important to note about the AustenandEmily is that they utilize technology, but they also say no to technology.
Yeah, exactly. And if you notice in the center, actually flanked by almost equal letters, is the O in technology.
Right here.
So again, that circle really key location indicator also of the particular circle of corn tortillas.
Yeah,
is another great way to indicate when you can't see them, you might be able to smell the corn tortilla.
Yeah, try to smell the circle, try to smell the corn. They're probably nearby. Mm-hmm. And similarly, if you ever are trying to find them at night, you can look for their wings, which are shown in X-ray form here. Or if you can't see them because they are very hard to notice, you can look for bokeh and candles and lights and other circles that appear as light, and they might be nearby. So for example, I know it can be hard to see. They're actually here in this photo,
Mm.
and how they're close to the
I
light.
didn't even, you're so much better at this than I am.
It takes years of practice, and I have seen this photo before in transparency.
Okay, makes me feel a little better.
Yeah. Wow, and that's the end of Michael Hendrix's research, which really groundbreaking stuff, I gotta say.
I just got a little prop out here. Another way that you can locate in Austen and Emily is if you, especially around the time of the unification ritual, if you just
Yep.
on a glass, you might hear them smooch.
You could do it with a crystal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I've heard that. I haven't seen that happen, but I heard that there's a big group down in San Antonio that's tried that method.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of our symposium. I think we're out of space on the laser disc.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is actually inspired by the biomechanics of the water bug. So
Yeah.
if anyone was wondering, there's an archived recording of our conversation about that on our website. Well, everybody, we are so excited to see you tomorrow or in our digital learning debrief. And with that, we raise a glass, a crystal, a mug, and a knife to the Austen and Emily.